If you have to explain a joke, it's not funny. All right, we're very honored to have Dave McGeaney here, former school committee member, to keep the festivities going. Dave, please.
Thank you, Tom. Of all the introductions I've had,
Fred, Dave, Fred might want to one up you or something.
Oh yes, Fred. Senator. Go ahead. Yeah, you jump in anytime you're ready, as if I could stop you. But yeah, but thank you, Tom. That introduction it was certainly of all that I've had the most recent. Really big build-up. You know, you've been on the school committee 20 years. Here's Dave. You know, it's nice though because I'm actually up here, like my friend Barry, as a private citizen, no longer an elected official. So now I can tell all you parasites what I really think of you. No. I'm kidding. I'm sure among you all there must be one of you doing a good job. So, no. So you really aren't funny, you know that. But we love you. Donald Trump walks into a bar. He stands up in front of the people, and he said, "When I'm president, I'm going to stop all the Muslims from entering this country. Then I'm going to build a huge wall, and then I'm going to stop all the Mexicans from crossing the border. Then I'm going to round up the 3 million illegal men, women, and children in this country and send them back to wherever the hell they came from." There's no punchline. That was from today's paper. That was. No, you're right. It's not funny. It's. I don't mean to alienate any Trump supporters here. Any racist bastards here? Any xenophobes? Anybody? No. There's one over here. Okay, good. You know, it's. I mean, it's crazy. I mean, look what happened last night. I mean. You saw that he had a time. He had a big crowd there, and they had to call it off. And they interviewed one of the protesters. I said, "Well, why are you protesting Trump?" And the protester said, "Listen, we're here to challenge Trump's extreme right-wing conservative positions on immigration, warmongering, and taking the voting out of public schools." So, may have a point. But seriously, I mean, he's a very controversial guy. I mean, Mitt Romney, did you see this with Mitt Romney, the previous candidate for president? He came out and he said, "Look, no matter what you do, folks, you can't vote for this Donald Trump guy." And he had this big press conference, and he was really exercising, very upset. He was so upset, and I don't know if you saw it, one of his hairs actually moved a little bit. Right? That's your line, Senator. I stole that. And you may have also seen that Whoopi Goldberg, who else? Al Sharpton, and Rosie O'Donnell. Those three people have said, if Donald Trump is elected president, we're leaving the country. Leaving the country. All right, well, maybe. Don't believe them, though, because they made the same threat if Ed Charis ever got to the city council, and they're still here. So don't believe them. All right, so Ted, the mayor, of course, is a great athlete. We know that. What did you call him, Tom? The best athlete among
60 overweight, over 60.
But you know, basketball is pretty much his game, and softball now. He went over to Ireland and he said, "Listen, I'm not a golfer, but I'm going to give these Irish courses a shot." And he really isn't a good golfer. And worse than not being a good golfer, he has no idea how to drive a golf cart. So sure enough, he's flying down the fairway, he tips the thing over. Fortunately, there's a woman who lives right on the fairway, and she sees Ted just sprawled out in the fairway. Happened to be a very beautiful woman. And she drags Ted back to her cottage. Says, "Geez, you're in bad shape. Why don't you have a drink?" And he says, "Well, geez, I don't know if I should have a drink. I don't think my wife would like that." She said, "Well, you know, you've been banged up pretty good. I think it'll help you relax." I said, "All right, I'll have a Captain." She says, "What are you, 12? So he drinks his Captain. So she says, you still look a little tense. How about I give you a little body massage and help you loosen up a little bit. He says, well, listen, you're very, very beautiful, and I don't feel comfortable with this. I'm a happily married man, and I don't think my wife would like it at all. She says, well, let me just try it. So he agrees, and he is feeling better. And the beautiful woman excuses herself. She goes into her bedroom. She comes out, and she's wearing this very scantily negligee and leaving very little to the imagination. She says, Ted, why don't you come in the bedroom here and I'll give you the real full body massage. He says, listen, I'm very uncomfortable with this. I'm a very happily married man. I don't think my wife would approve. She says, I don't understand you. Who is this wife of yours? I'd like to meet her. He says, well, we can't. I think she's still under the cart. Oh, my.
Poor Andrea.
Poor Andrea is right. So, Teddy runs out of Captain and Coke in Ireland, and so he goes into a liquor store, and there's a nun out front, and she says, stop what you're doing. Do not go in this liquor store. Liquor is very bad for you. He says, well, I just have to go in and just get a little something. She says, no, it'll ruin your brain cells. Your parents will disapprove. It'll ruin your life. Ted says, excuse me, sister, but have you ever had alcohol? She says, no. He said, well, how can you have such a strong opinion about something you know absolutely nothing about? He says, I'll tell you what, sister. Let me go in there and get you some alcohol, and you try it, and if you don't like it, then you can say something about alcohol. She says, okay. She says, what does a young lady drink? Ted says, gin. She says, okay. I'll have gin, but put it in a paper cup so no one knows. He says, okay. So Ted goes into the liquor store. He says to the clerk, like a bottle of Captain? He says, what are you, 12?
Obviously you hit a nerve. Look at him.
I'll have a bottle of Captain's, a bottle of gin, and a paper cup. He says, is that bloody nun out there again? So Teddy comes out. He gives the nun the bottle of gin. She drinks it down, the whole thing, one guzzle. He says, sister, I don't understand this. Why do you do this? Well, she says, well, I do it because Mother Superior is constipated. He says, well, what does that have to do with anything? He says, well, when I get back to the convent, she's going to shit.
Boy.
All right. Hey, listen, I know it's morning, but let's believe it's the afternoon and we all have drinks. Raise your drink. I want to make an Irish toast. All right. I finally found the perfect girl I'll never want for more. She's deaf and dumb and oversexed and owns a liquor store. Happy St. Patrick's Day.
Dave McGeaney. Thank you, David. Take your jokes, Dave.
Yeah, they're funny.
Yeah, those were funny. Dave was right. I gave him a really, really half-ass introduction. Dave McGeaney, there's that guy again. All right, 1 second. Imagine me telling the senator, hold on. Imagine that. Dave McGeaney has given more to this city in the last 20 to 25 years than any of us, and I'd like to acknowledge that. David, thank you.